What up? It's your boy Chaotic One, and I am back with another one. Your boy Suge Knight once again went in on Snoop Dogg, and you ain't gonna believe what he said this time. Let's get into it.
When Snoop made the comments he made on Hot 97, right, about how he didn't have beef with Big and Puff and they was his friends, he always said that when he got back on the plane with you and Pac, he had a knife and a fork underneath his blanket just in case y'all did something to him. From your point of view, can you break that situation down?
Well, the truth about it is this. Number one, Snoop did not treat his people that great. It ain't the fact that, you gotta look at it like this. When we went places, or we was on the next level type of shit, or even vacation type of shit.
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
If a person worked for Death Row and didn't have a Death Row chain, you know they went vacationing with us. You know they went on a private plane with us. That's number one. Number two, if you was an artist and Snoop and Pac and those guys didn't feel you weren't valuable enough to make the cut, they didn't go on vacation with us or on a private plane with us. Snoop, I had love for Snoop, so therefore, I will respect his call. When we went to Belize on a private plane, Snoop could have brought gas, he could have brought he could have brought anybody on a dog pound if he wanted. Nobody's not going to say no. He chose not to bring him. And nobody brought security or runners, assistant. We go and enjoy ourselves. So at the end of the day, nobody never would tell, and you know, shit. Big Style.
So is he saying like Snoop basically went, you know, the story Snoop told about being on a plane with Pac and them after the New York interview. So is he basically saying that Snoop could have bought some members of the Dog Pound on the flight with him, and Snoop just telling a bullshit story, or I don't get what his point is, but let's continue.
Him is tight. And anytime Snoop would want him to go, I would love to always have him go. If he don't be on the plane, because Snoop didn't bring him on the plane. If the Dog Pound wasn't there, because Snoop didn't bring him on there. At the end of the day, after that interview, everybody knows anybody. No. And I'm not talking about the people who speak on Tupac who never met Tupac in person, who never worked for Death Row, who never been around Death Row. I'm not talking about those people who's been lying. I'm talking about the real people, the day ones. Everybody know what Pac did to Snoop and how Pac was getting on Snoop. Snoop cannot say he didn't ride in the van with the luggage. When you leave in the hotel and you go into the private plane, you're gonna have a van full of everybody's luggage. Everyone else is gonna be in a limo. Now, there's no room in that van because it's packed with luggage. Snoop decided to get inside the van with all the luggage cramped all up. I even told him, you making you look bad and us look bad. Get in this limo, man, we gotta go. His thing was, Pac crazy as a motherfucker. He ain't gonna be in no limo and Pac beating him up. So therefore, that tell you the temperature right there.
Wow, he's saying that allegedly Pac was putting his hands on Snoop. Wow. I don't know. Let's continue. I'm a little baffled right now, but let's continue. Man.
And do you really think he gonna try to swing on Pac, stab Pac?
You have 60 seconds remaining.
Stab Pac with a knife? with everybody on the plane who fucked with Pac? Man, stupid guy. He only weighed what? Like the Scarecrow. He got his back broke, his neck broke, if he would have stabbed Tupac. That's not true. And
But what I think he's saying though, Suge, is he's I think if we on the same story, I think what the story Snoop is telling is that he was scared. So he got on the plane and he had a knife and a fork and whatever. And from Snoop's story, he's telling it as if he was protecting himself. So I don't think it was from an aspect of him having a knife to get on there and do something to Pac or nothing like that from Snoop's story. But let's continue.
he never been gangbanging on Pac. If he was that comfortable, if it wasn't no slick shit, Snoop would have been at the fight and at the club. That simple. Out of all the things, all the events, you a no-show. You didn't come. I had to make you come to the Loserville. I call Loserville Vegas. And you claimed you went to go see Pac. And if you did, but it took a week, that makes no sense. Lie after lie after lie. See, what you got to remember is that I put loyalty and love with the Death Row family, with me, the artists, everyone, one for one and one for all. So it's never a situation where we're at the point where we're saying, fuck each other like that. This is the first time something like that ever happened. And when that happened, it was only because somebody disrespected somebody in the circle. When we hung out, what we did, when we had fun, it was always loyalty and love. And it was never no security there. It was never no outsiders there. It was the family there. And one of the reasons, when even if you were Ak Malik, and I don't know if he answered it, I know he answered it before, but you got to remember one thing. It was so family orientated with everyone that when the lawyers asked Andre, he got to get on the stand for a character witness for Snoop, he said no, he wouldn't do it. They said, well, his life might depend on it, him going to prison or not going to prison. Andre said, buddy, you better cancel it. If it depends on me, he's going to prison for life. When Pac heard that, that's when Pac started changing. When that verdict came in and we won, I took everyone to Monty's. I mean, even before we got upstairs, everybody partied. We had music playing all downstairs, everywhere. People were dancing downstairs. Got upstairs inside Monty's. We probably had, I don't know, if they had 50 bottles of Cristal or 1,000 bottles of Cristal, might have been 1,000 bottles. Bought them all. If we didn't drink them all, people were leaving out with bottles of Cristal. Every person partied. So therefore, the loyalty was there. So when Snoop did that to Pac, that was part of the separation in the end of Death Row. Because once Pac died, once that happened, it was straight down the middle. Some on this side, some on that side. When Pac died, it was over.
It sounds like this story, man, is woo, it's deep on so many levels, man. It's so many angles and so many. I'm going to let this run and I'm going to give my thoughts at the end. Oh, man, it's just crazy. But let's continue.
Actually, before he died, once Pac heard Snoop said what he said in that radio interview, That's when the separation came. A lot of people want to go online and say, well, Pac wanted to leave Death Row. He hated Death Row. That's not true. Pac wanted to stop fucking with those niggas. He said, we don't need them. We doing this, we doing that, we doing this. They snakes. Period. And Pac was on some shit like, we can change Death Row into the Row. We don't need Death no more. Death's those weird ass niggas. So a lot of people was going on and speaking on this type of situation for to hide something or to make themselves look important. But once again, a lot of people who speak on Pac, I ain't never talked to a Pac about Pac to an outsider. So you know I didn't talk to Pac about an outsider who wasn't on Death Row or part of the family. You talking about people who will speak on Tupac. They couldn't tell you if Pac had bad breath or was musty. They never met the man. And if they worked for Death Row, well, not directly with Death Row, if you was a employee of Death Row, you couldn't tell if Pac had rough hands or soft hands because you never got close enough to even shake his hand because you was just a fucking employee. So when it was all said and done, that drew the line in the sand. It was separate. Snoop knew one fucking thing. Once it was over, I don't care how many songs you did with Pac. I don't care how many times you talk real bad about Biggie. You came and stabbed Pac in the back. And Pac was not going to stop. Machiavelli wouldn't have stopped until he broke Snoop's jaw and knocked his teeth out of his motherfucking mouth. At the end of the day, when it was all said and done, he couldn't sleep or rest unless he didn't have to deal with that problem. Pac was a problem for him for the rest of his life. Besides that, the love is still there, but it never was respect. Because a real man doesn't use respect, the word respect. This is like, I love everything about my own mother. I didn't have respect for my mother. You don't have respect for nobody because the word respect means it's always respect. But it's not true. If I didn't have respect for my mother, I wouldn't be sneaking girls in the house when I was young, living with my mother, fucking them, having sex with them. I wouldn't be doing the things I was doing. But what's more important than respect is loyalty, trust, honor. So when Pac didn't have honor for Snoop, or loyalty to Snoop, or trust to Snoop, Pac was not going to let up. Every time he seen Snoop, he was going to get on his head. Snoop knew this. But for him doing anything or saying any slick shit to Pac, never happened. Never would have happened. Period.
Yo, man. So here's my thoughts on this whole situation. There's been some allegations or allegedly that Snoop now might have had something to do with the unaliving of Tupac. I don't know if I believe it. I don't know what the motive. I don't know what the motive would have been. Maybe jealousy from just listening to this phone call right here from Suge Knight. Oh, I got stuff on my head. Just listening to this phone call from Suge Knight. Kind of. What's the word I'm looking for? It kind of makes the theory of the jealousy thing that I had a discussion with somebody about, and I told him that if Snoop did have something to do with it, it was from an aspect of being jealous, and that could have been very well the case Pac came over to death row, shined harder than Snoop did. As you can see, the whole Biggie, Puff, the Bad Boy Death Row thing played a part. Man, it's so deep. I just wanted to react to Suge saying that, but it just makes me think even deeper now. The rabbit hole just went a little bit deeper. But yo, how do y'all feel about it? Do you think that Snoop could possibly have something to do with the unaliving of Tupac behind jealousy or anything like that? Leave it in the comments section. Let's talk about it. It's your boy Kaotic One. This is the KMHP TV YouTube channel. Until the next video, I'm going to touch back with y'all. Holla. Peace.